Game 5 of the NBA Finals went down last night.
Yep, and Jalen Williams showed up as like, how do I say this? If SGA is Michael Jordan, then Jalen Williams was Scottie Pippen last night. I'm not trying to say that SGA is the second coming of Michael Jordan. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying in terms of them being a dynamic duo, like SGA would be Batman and Jalen Williams would be the Robin, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Last night, it did kind of feel like that. Not so much throughout the series. I mean, I think this talk that Jalen Williams could be Finals MVP is ridiculous. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win Finals MVP. He's been the best player on the court. Even last night, I thought, I know he was close to a double-double. I believe he had 9 assists, about 30 points. Just a typical SGA game. But the crazy thing about last night was I had made a significant wager. The most significant wager I've ever made in my life on the Oklahoma City Thunder to cover 9.5, because I really felt like last night the Thunder were just going to cakewalk through this game. And it did feel like that they were going to cakewalk through this game. And then all of a sudden, even without that so-called superstar, Tyrese Halliburton.
Let's just quelch this right now. He is not a superstar. I've heard all the arguments about, because he hits all these clutch shots. Don't remind me about game 2. I'm still not over it. But because he hits all these clutch shots and he's gone 5 for 5 in late game situations, that makes him a superstar. No, it does not. Tyrese Halliburton, he is a very good player at times. At times, he can be a great player, but he is not the kind of guy where you can give him the ball and say, take us there.
Well, I would word it differently. I would say he's the type of guy you can depend on to make the last shot of the game, obviously. He's not the type of guy that you can bank on him having 25 to 30 points a night. That's not his game. Where SGA, I think the thing that makes SGA at worst a top 2-3 player in this league right now, especially for these finals, is his ability to score 25 to 30 a game. His ability to, whether you want to call him a free throw merchant or not, he draws fouls. He gives the ball up. He makes winning plays. And as I mentioned last week on Championship Rings, the Oklahoma City Thunder have won 68 regular season games. They have now won 15 postseason games. That is 83 wins that they have had. They have lost a grand total of 14 regular season games and 6 postseason games, which means they have lost a total of 20 games, which means for 103 games this season, they are 83-20. That would put them as historically the 3rd best team of all time behind the 1995-1996 Chicago Bulls and, of course, the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors. So, no. In my opinion, the Indiana Pacers had no shot to win this series. Nothing outside of game 1 has surprised me, really. Even at game 3, there was a lot of people picking Oklahoma City. I thought that was the game Indiana would win at home relatively comfortably. I thought the Thunder would win a close one in game 4. And again, last night was the strangest game ever because out of all people, TJ McConnell was probably the best player on the Indiana Pacers last night, and the Pacers may have the greatest bench in the history of the NBA, because what team would even be remotely in this game when their best player doesn't even make a field goal and they're within 2 in the 4th quarter? And I'm going, oh no, here we go again. It felt like game 1 all over again.
Let me comment on that, because Rick Carlisle made a huge mistake in that game last night. I think you know what I'm referring to here. You know Tyrese Halliburton is compromised. TJ McConnell is playing extremely well for you. You are getting back into the game, and you put Tyrese Halliburton back in the game.
Are you talking about in the fourth quarter, right when they cut it to 2? Siakam hit that 3. OKC calls timeout. Yeah, no, I thought the same thing. To be honest with you, and there was discussion today about, I don't know if you could really do that because he is your best player. Again, not last night. If I was Indiana personally, I would have not played Halliburton one more minute the rest of the game.
Yeah, I would agree with you because I'll pull up the tweet right now, actually. I believe Shams Charania tweeted he has a
calf strain, which is very dangerous. He's going to get an MRI on it. Listen, he's a competitor. He said so himself. He's probably going to play tomorrow night, or Thursday night, excuse me. But I will warn Pacers fans of this. There is a precedent for a guy having a calf strain and coming back too early and tearing his Achilles in an NBA Finals game.
We will get to him in another segment. Don't you worry.
It's known as Kevin Durant, who we will talk about, and it happened in 2019. And by the way, for the record, I don't care what you Pacers fans say. Even if Halliburton wins, I will die on this sword. For the 9th consecutive year, we will not get a Game 7. This thing is over on Thursday. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win this game. The Indiana Pacers are going to throw their punch the way they did in Game 4 early. OKC will withstand the punch. They will play better in the second half, and we will crown an NBA champion on Thursday. And no, Indiana, you do not have a shot in hell to win this series. You never did. And by the way, we're going to get to this here in a minute. The Orlando Magic made a trade because they literally feel like you are a fluke and they can beat you. Yeah. And that's how everybody feels around this league because nobody has taken this Indiana Pacers road legitimately. Nobody thinks this team is a legitimate championship contender. Even if they do somehow come back and win these next 2 games and have the most miracle championship run of all time, I am here. I will put it on the line right here, right now. The Indiana Pacers will not be back in the NBA Finals next year.
And let me just say this. For all you NBA fans out there, whether you're a talking head on ESPN, Fox Sports 1, or you're just a general NBA fan, whatever, if the Oklahoma City Thunder win this championship on Thursday, it is their first one in franchise history. Do not count it as their second one because they won a championship back in 1979 in Seattle.
I don't think anybody does.
That is total bullshit. Let's remove the Seattle Supersonics from the equation. The Oklahoma City Thunder are their own team.
Who counts the Sun? I know obviously that they were there, but as far as I know, does the NBA count the Sonics as Thunder records? I thought that was like disputed or something.
As far as I know, the NBA does count the Sonics.
Because I haven't heard that conversation at all. Everything I heard is OKC's about to win their first title in franchise history. Which, again, as I said 2 weeks ago right here on Championship Rings, Josh, if they do indeed complete this season the way we think they do, the Thunder will have the 3rd best regular season record in the history of the NBA. They will have a player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who will become the first player since Michael Jordan to be a guard to lead the league in scoring during the regular season, win Finals MVP, win regular season MVP, and of course host the Larry O'Brien Trophy. It will be, I don't care what you people want to say, the facts are the facts. It's one of the most historic seasons in the history of the NBA.
I would even say it's one of the greatest seasons in NBA history. But Mark Dagnall, the head coach of the Thunder, why did you go away from the double big lineup in games 1, 2, and 3? Oh, no, I want to start Cason Wallace. Why? Like, the double big lineup of Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren had been working for you all regular season, all through the postseason, and then you get to game 1 against the Pacers, and you're like, nah, I want to start Cason Wallace and take Isaiah Hartenstein out.
And I agree with you. And I think the right move was to go back to Hartenstein in game 4. But I do want to point this out, that in fairness, it did kind of work. it's not like it was a disaster. They were up by 15 and forced 20 Indiana turnovers in the first half. And a lot of that was Wallace getting the steals and being disruptive on defense. So it's not like it didn't work.
I understand that, but like you don't want to psych yourself out. Like you haven't even played a minute of the series and you're already making a lineup change. What does that say about Indiana, right? Like,
yeah, it's strange. And again, the thing is Dagno's obviously first big coaching spot. But again, as I've talked about numerous times over the last couple of weeks, as we've seen in the NBA over these past few weeks, the NBA doesn't value coaching anymore. So it's a players' league. And, let's just face it. The game's been better than I think we all thought. The ratings have not showcased that. And in 4 or 5 years, this NBA Finals is going to be remembered as, hey, do you remember that one Pacer team that had a miracle run that made every shot in the world that got to the finals? And they went up against the Thunder team, and it will depend on what the Thunder do 2-3 years down the road that will dictate what history will say about the 2024-2025 Thunder. Because either history will say, oh, it's one of the greatest seasons ever. It's one of the greatest, one-off seasons ever, kind of like Boston and Denver from the last couple of years. Or it will be viewed as the 2015 Warriors start of a dynasty season.
Yes. By the way, I think the NBA actually heard everybody complaining because for the first time since the 2013 NBA Finals, which was one of the greatest finals I've ever seen between the San Antonio Spurs and the Miami Heat, they actually showed player introductions last night. Like, we talked about this last week. That's part of what makes the NBA Finals so special is they show the player introductions. Back in the early 2000s, they had that giant Larry O'Brien trophy on the court. And it's like, oh, this isn't just a regular playoff game. Think about this. And I'm writing an article about this on Voltage Live. It'll be posted later in the month.
By the end of June, yes.
Yes. But when you watched the national championship game between the Florida Gators and the Houston Cougars in early April, you knew it was a massive game because it was played on that on a special Final Four court.
It was in a stadium.
Yes, and they showed player introductions and they had all this pomp and circumstance. But when you watch the NBA Finals, it's like, wait. Is this the NBA Finals or is this just a second round matchup?
Well, no, I said last week, if you recall, I said if you told someone who was in a coma, if they woke up, that they would think it was just a random Thursday night game in January. I mean, it was nothing different. And I do want to say this real quick. So after Shams Charania put out the tweet that the Thunder Pacers were going to get player introductions, I went to the same platform known as X, and I asked its AI platform, Gronk, if Adam Silver has a burner account where he just listens to NBA Twitter. And it was a very fascinating response. Gronk wrote back, Adam Silver said in 2017 he has a secret Twitter account to follow NBA discussions. So, what do you know? NBA Twitter, you can bully Adam Silver into doing almost anything.
Yes. Like, it's gotten to the point where they're even, instead of those stupid Larry O'Brien trophies, it actually says the finals. But wait, that's not actually on the court. That's computer generated.
Yeah, it's a bad one. I didn't like it when they first started it. A couple of years ago, it looked more real than it does now. A couple of years ago, you couldn't really tell, besides the fact that they would move around the paint from one side of the floor to the other every quarter. Now it's like clearly because of the way they stretch it and things like that. I do wonder if the NBA is listening and if they're going to make a lot of big changes part of their new media rights deal next year. Obviously, ABC still has exclusive control of the finals. But, we'll see if the finals intensifies. I know, game 4, which crazy enough was the highest rated game so far in the series, had record low ratings for a game 4. But again, it's not like there's not stars in these finals. It's that the NBA has done a terrible job of marketing them. Excuse me.
Yes. And it's also the fact that, like, you have two small market teams. It's kind of the same problem the NBA had during the 2021 NBA Finals when it was Milwaukee and Phoenix. Like, I know you had Giannis Antetokounmpo in that series, but overall, like, Milwaukee and Phoenix are two of these smaller markets in the NBA. It's the same thing here. Indiana and Oklahoma City, I think, are like 21st and 25th in terms of market size, if I'm not mistaken.